Give it back, Nora. My stepmother Evelyn's voice roared across the chandelier-lit banquet hall, slicing through the hum of celebration. You stole my daughter's inheritance. Every head turned, glasses clinking to a stop as I stood, frozen, a flute of champagne trembling in my hand. My name's Nora Ellis, a 33-year-old violinist who never imagined running my father's logistics empire. An hour ago, I'd walked into the Ritz-Carlton's Grand Ballroom for Evelyn's 60th birthday gala, hoping to bridge the chasm that had grown since Dad's death 2 years back. Her invitation had felt like a truce. Instead, it was a trap. And now, I was center stage in a public execution of my character. The crowd, Dallas's business elite, people I'd worked to win, overstared, their whispers sharpening into daggers. But as Evelyn's words echoed, accusing me of betraying my father's wishes, a fire sparked inside me. They thought they could erase me, but I was done being their scapegoat. This wasn't just a fight for a company, it was for the legacy Dad entrusted to me, and I'd make sure they never forgot it. I grew up in Dallas, daughter of Henry Ellis, who turned a single truck into Ellis Logistics, a regional powerhouse. Our sprawling ranch, with its pecan trees and creek, was my haven after Mom died when I was 10. Dad remarried Evelyn when I was 14, bringing her an 11-year-old Leela, my stepsister, into our lives. Evelyn played the doting stepmom in public, but at home, she favored Leela, whose every whim dance lessons, designer clothes was indulged. I found solace in my violin, earning a scholarship to Juilliard and building a career touring Europe. Dad was proud, but he'd always say, Nora, you've got a head for numbers, too. This company could use you. When Dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer 3 years ago, I was in Vienna. He called, voice steady despite the news. Nora, I need you to know something. Lila's bright, but she's not built for the business. You are. You see patterns, solve problems. I'm leaving Ellis Logistics to you. I flew home, sitting by his bedside as he gripped my hand. Promise you'll protect it, he said. I gave up touring to honor that vow, taking online business courses and shadowing Dad at the office when he was well enough. After he passed, the will named me CEO. Evelyn and Leela seemed to accept it at first, attending board meetings with tight smiles. I poured myself into the role, growing revenue by 18%, securing new contracts, and saving 50 jobs during a supply chain crisis. But soon, Evelyn's subtle digs began, comments about my music hobby at board dinners, hints I'd swooped in when Dad was sick. Leela, who'd never shown interest in logistics, started echoing her mom, posting cryptic Instagram stories about family betrayal. I brushed it off, focusing on the company, until tonight's gala turned their private campaign public. As Evelyn stormed toward me, her silver gown glinting under the chandeliers, she spat. That company was meant for Leela, Henry's true heir. You tricked him when he was too weak to think straight. Leela stood behind her, smirking, nodding like she'd rehearsed it. The crowd's murmurs grew. Shady, someone whispered. Always wondered why she took over so fast. Another added. A man near the bar actually hissed. That's not true, I said. But my voice wavered, drowned by the room's hostility. Dad's will was clear. Evelyn cut in. You, the absentee violinist, barely saw him. You manipulated a dying man. Tears stung, her words hitting old guilt. I hadn't been home enough during my touring years, but I'd been there when it mattered. Unlike Leela, who'd skipped hospital visits for Coachella. You should leave, Evelyn said, voice icy with victory. No one wants a thief here. I walked out, legs shaking, the crowd's boost trailing me. In my car, I sobbed, the humiliation searing. These weren't strangers, they were clients, suppliers, people I'd fought to prove myself to. But as I gripped the steering wheel, a text lit up my phone from Margaret Tate, Dad's attorney and will executor. Asterisk, heard what happened. You okay? Call me. Asterisk, I dialed. Voice raw. Spilling the nightmare. This is outrageous, Margaret said, her calm authority grounding me. Evelyn knows Henry's will was airtight. She's lost for court challenges. Do you have your laptop? In my car, I said, confused. Meet me at my office in 20 minutes. If Evelyn wants a public fight, we'll give her the truth. Every document, every video, every proof Henry left to protect you. A spark flared through my tears. I wasn't just a grieving daughter, I was the CEO. Dad, choose. I'm on my way, I said, starting the engine. Margaret's office glowed in Dallas's skyline, files stacked like a fortress. Henry was a planner, she said, pulling binders. He knew Evelyn might pull this. He documented everything. To shield you, she handed me a USB drive. This has his video testament, recorded for months before he died, explaining why he chose you. He had his doctor certify his mental clarity. I clutched the drive, remembering that day Dad, frail but fierce, insisting on recording his wishes. I hadn't watched it since. It hurt too much. There's more, Margaret said. Financials showing your 18% growth. Employee endorsements. Board minutes where you offered Leela a VP role she rejected, saying logistics was too dull. And court rulings dismissing Evelyn's claims of coercion. I paced, anger overtaking. Shame, why go public now? She's already lost in court. Power, Margaret said. Evelyn thrives on status. If she can't win legally, she'll ruin your reputation. Make you untouchable in Dallas's business scene. She's halfway there, I muttered, recalling the crowd's scorn. Not for long, Margaret said. Stacking files, we'll crash her Gala with the truth. My printer's ready, let's make binders for every table. A plan crystallized. Dad always said, don't just defend, overwhelm with evidence. Margaret grinned. Exactly. I'll call colleagues to join us, credible attorneys to back you up. We worked fast, printing court rulings, financial charts, employee letters praising my leadership. I organized binders, each a weapon of truth. Margaret's 3 associates, veteran lawyers, agreed to meet us at the Ritz. By 10 p.m., we were done, binders loaded into Margaret's SUV. The Gala would still be raging. Ready? She asked. I nodded, heart pounding. Let's show them who I am. The Ritz's valet blinked as we unloaded, recognizing me from my tearful exit. Margaret's colleagues, in crisp suits, flanked me like a legal guard. The ballroom's chatter hushed as we entered, heads turning. Evelyn, near a floral centerpiece, held a martini, laughing until she saw me. Her face fell. Leela, beside her, whispered frantically, ladies and gentlemen, Margaret announced, voice commanding, I'm Margaret Tate, Henry Ellis's attorney and will executor. There's been a grave misunderstanding about Ellis Logistics that we're here to correct. The band stopped. Silence gripped the room. Accusations were made against Nora Ellis, the rifle CEO. We're presenting the factual record. Her colleagues distributed binders as I stepped to the stage, taking the microphone. From a stunned violinist, 2 hours ago, I was called a thief who stole my father's company. I said, was studying. I was humiliated and booed out. My stepmother, Evelyn, staged that attack. She didn't tell you she's challenged Dad's will 4 times. And last, Margaret projected court rulings on a screen behind me. Each judge found no evidence of manipulation. Dad was fully competent. Guests flipped through binders, brows furrowing. Evelyn moved toward me, but Margaret's colleagues blocked her. Before I continue, I said, hear from my father. Margaret played the USB video. Dad appeared then, but eyes blazing, gasps rippled. Some hadn't seen his cancer-ravaged state. I'm Henry Ellis, he said, voice firm, recording. This April 12, 2023, with my attorney, Margaret Tate, and Dr. Laura Chen, who certified my mental clarity. The camera showed them, then returned to Dad. I'm leaving Ellis Logistics to my daughter, Nora. She has the vision and grit to lead it. She's studied business, worked with me, and she cares. My stepdaughter, Leela, has declined every chance to engage, saying logistics bores her. Clips played me with Dad at warehouses, pitching clients, moments I didn't know were filmed. Then Leela added dinner, scoffing, I'm not wasting my life on trucks. Another showed her rejecting a VP offer, texting, asterisk rather party than push peeper, I love both my girls, Dad said. But Nora's earned this. I'm of sound mind. And this is my choice. Dr. Cheng confirmed his competence. The screen went dark. I faced the crowd. Since taking over, I've grown Ellis Logistics by 18%, added 50 jobs, and saved us from a supply chain collapse. Page 10 of your binders has employee letters supporting me. Page 14 shows the VP role I offered Leela, which she turned down. Leela shrank as guests glanced her way. The final pages are court rulings proving Dad's will was his own. No manipulation, no theft. I looked to Evelyn. Now, pale, you told me to return what isn't mine. But Alice Logistics is exactly where Dad wanted it with me. The room shifted. Tom Reynolds, our biggest client, stood. Nora, I'm sorry, I bought Evelyn's story without questioning. That was wrong. Others nodded, skimming binders. A woman in the back clapped. Then more joined, applause swelling. Evelyn shoved past the attorneys. Leela trailing. How dare you hijack my party? She hissed. This proves you're classless. And fit to lead, I smelled. Classless, you used your birthday to slander me and kick me out. Dad's video begs to differ. You twisted him when he was dying. Leela shouted, you were never around. Margaret held up a tablet. Hospital logs show Nora visited Henry 97 times in his last 6 months. Leela, you visited 15. Evelyn, 42. Evelyn's mask cracked. The company was for our security. Henry promised we'd be set. You are, I said. Dad's trusts ensure you're comfortable. What he didn't give you was his legacy, because he knew you'd squander it. Evelyn grabbed Lila's arm, storming out. This isn't over. It is. Margaret called. Further challenges will face sanctions for frivolous litigation. As they vanished, the crowd relaxed. Guests approached, apologizing, praising the company's growth. Ellen Harper, Dad's retired coup, hugged me. Henry chose right. You've got his fire. Tears came, not from pain, but pride. Thanks, Ellen. That means the world. Margaret grinned. What now? I scanned the room. Clients, partners, my future. Now, I work the room. I'm not just Henry's daughter, I'm the CEO. 6 months later, Ellis Logistics soared. The Gala sparked new deals. Tom Reynolds tripled his contract, and a lost clients returned. We opened a Houston hub, hiring 40 more workers. The night I reclaimed my place changed me, too. I stood taller, spoke bolder, owned my role. Leela showed up at my office a month after the gala. Eyes down. I need work, she said. Mums burned through her savings on lawyers, and my trust doesn't kick in for years. Against Margaret's advice, I gave her a junior marketing role. She surprised me, showing real skill. We're not close, but there's a cautious respect growing. Evelyn left Dallas for Miami, chasing a new social circle. We don't speak, and I'm okay with that. My violin, once my identity, is now a private jewel. Late night sonatas after board meetings. But leading Alice Logistics has ignited something new. Purpose. I launched the Henry Alice Foundation, funding music programs and business training for low-income teens. At its opening, I played Dad's favorite Bach piece in our warehouse, surrounded by employees whose jobs I'd secured. The business world that once jeered now lauds us as a model of integrity. Lila's learning, I'm thriving, and Dad's legacy life's not stolen, but earned. That night in the ballroom, I didn't just defend my place, I claimed it. And as I look to the future, I know no one will ever make me invisible again.